All right, welcome back. So we're going to look at time correction. So as more people are sort of looking into the Akai ecosystem or platform, um, this video is really for most of those people that are sort of looking, from the outside in, and we're going to look at time correction. So this is really manipulation of time, and a lot of, most DAWs kind of refer to this as quantization or quantizing. But we're going to look at this in sort of another angle here. And we're going to go through the parameters. And just a quick shout out, if there's something on here that differs a little bit with the other MPC models, like the Live and the One, or the keys even, I'll if I can catch myself, I'll point the differences out. But they all run basically the same internal software in here. What really makes the true distinction is actually the morphology or the hardware setup that they have. And each MPC has slightly a little bit different. It's kind of odd, but that is what it is. Okay, so speaking of on the MPCX, which I have today for this video, there's not an actual dedicated like time correction button that you would see on the Live or the keys. Instead, they have like the four most, I don't know if to call them popular features, but real relevant features that are dedicated to what they call screen control. And so the MPCX offers at least a Kai's interpretation of what full screen control, that software stack, and the MPCX platform is designed to take full advantage of it in its full implementation. Excuse me. And so the other MPCs will actually have a time correction button, a dedicated button called TC. And of course, on the MPC keys, it's called time correction, all spelled out, but means the same thing. So, how you actually access the full actual implementation is you're going to go on the screen and just tap this. Okay. And then all the parameters are right on here. And so you can manipulate that. So from the MPC, or excuse me, from the Q links, I can turn it on, turn it off. I can adjust the resolution. Okay. And so the swing, which is down here, I'm going to get to that in a minute. A swing set of 50 is really spot on center of the actual note resolution. So it's like basically having it off. As you start pushing the swing, and we'll do some examples, it starts to stretch that timing out. Okay, and it's a certain in between feel, like here. All right, so all right, and then we have the window and strength. Okay, and then of course you got the events of what you're manipulating in terms of what gets edited, what doesn't, and then you got the start, which is defaults, and you can also actually quantize the end of a note and so forth and so on. So now default set is like a really hard quantize. In other words, if I play a beat and I've got to set the 16th notes, so what I just played is going to be pushed and quantized really hard to the nearest 16th note right here. Okay. Now, that's like how it is default on here. Now, as I start playing with the parameters down here, which is really starts to get real interesting, we'll go a little deeper into this. Outside of whatever resolution that you set, that's where sort of the time manipulation really starts to take place. So I'll give you an example. I'm going to go into here. We're going to look at the window first. So think of it like this. When the window is shut, the parameter is at 0. So that would be like not letting anything in your window. So irregardless, however I have this quantizes on and whatever I have on here, it's not going to do anything. It's like basically it's the same. It's almost gives you the same results of turning it off. In other words, it doesn't let anything data through. Watch. So however I played it, for the most part, is what spits back out because the window was shut. Therefore, nothing gets filtered through these parameters. Okay. Now think about this: as I start moving it from 0, as I start to approach 100%, that means the window goes open and more stuff gets affected, a larger percentage, right? And if I just barely open it, okay, it's only going to let so much through. Okay. So now the strength is really the resolution that it's going to honor. So if that's at 100%, if the resolution is at 16th note, then whatever I play, regardless of whatever I play, it's going to get slammed right on the nearest 16th note. Okay. Now as I start backing it off, so the Native Instruments machine has a dedicated button that says quantize to 50%, which is what I have this set on at this moment. So that means if I'm so many ticks away, and we'll talk about bars, beats, and ticks in a minute. If I'm so many ticks away, it's just going to get me halfway closer to this resolution. In this particular case, 16th notes. So a window's saying I'm going to affect everything that goes through at 100%, but when I affect it, it's only going to take me halfway up to the nearest 16th note. So that means what I just played here is going to get quantized, and if the note falls right on the 16th note, which I probably did a couple notes like that, it doesn't get affected at all. But if I'm off by let's say 7 ticks, it's going to get me to the nearest halfway point, which is going to push that note closer to this resolution. Okay. So there you go. That's just a general explanation. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to play around with some of this stuff, and we're going to see how this actually gets affected and how you can use it in your music. So I'm going to go play a quarter note beat again. Okay. So I purposely have this background music quantized for a reason, so we can kind of see how this drum beat, especially this, gets affected. So the shift timing is set up so that, I'm going to put this at 100%, is set up so that we can actually shift whatever we played so many ticks. And so what we're looking at the concept of is pushing things back or pushing the feel forward. Okay, and we're going to do it. So the maximum ticks is 48, which is actually a half note, or a negative 48, which is the opposite way, a half note. So you're pushing everything on the grid this way or this way. So for example, if I push everything back, I don't like use the word back in the musical terms, but if push the grid and slide it to the, I guess it would be like rushing everything, is what it really basically is when you talk about rushing and dragging. So we're going to rush everything so that everything's going to be a quarter or a half note pushed forward, or pushed, I hate to use those words, but rushed an eighth note. So check this out. Easier to listen. Okay, so for example, if a quarter note is 48 ticks, then a 16th note is half that. That's 24 ticks, right? So this is right on the money, so to speak. See how that moved everything? A 16th note. All right. And then, so if a 16th note is 24, then a 32nd note is 12. This is going to sound really not good, but okay. And then, of course, a 64th note, which is going to not sound good at all, is 6. I actually practice, whatever hand exercises. I actually practice where I play everything on the quarter note, and then I also displace it against that, against a metronome. It's just a real popular exercise that a lot of people, especially drummers. I learned this from JoJo Mayer, or what's his name, Benny Greb, drummer. So, but I've seen other jazz, prominent jazz educators and so forth teach the same thing, which is playing everything that you normally play, but displace it. Okay, so this is kind of what you're doing. Okay, so let's go back, and I'm gonna take this to 0. Okay. Okay, now we're back at normal. So how does this actually apply? So let's just go play. I'm going to play a 16th note groove. Okay, so now you kind of got this flow. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift it by shifting it, believe it or not, by shifting it in the positive numbers, it's going to push the beat back like you're relaxed. And that's kind of what I'm trying to, the feel that I'm going to try to create. So remember, when every increment of 6 is a full 64th note. So you want to make sure you want to pay attention. If you go too much, it pushes it forward too much or back too much. So let's just do a little bit, which is less than a third of a 64th note. Undo that, and you can kind of push it a little bit. We'll do 4, which is still like 2/3 of a 64th note. So I can feel that right there. So now, if I'm actually going to replay this, so let's just delete this or erase this wave synth. And now that I got this different feel, I can retrack it and I'm gonna just let it play. Okay, so I already feel it. I'll record it with the quantize off. And you can go and then this is something that you can actually turn into an exercise where you can take 8 bars of it. And so that's the kind of idea, is to create a certain feel out of it. Now I can record the piano, so quantize is off, and I can turn the piano. And you can just play around with it. That's not a pass that I would keep, but it's just an example. And so that's basically time correction in terms of shifting the time. Okay, you can play with that forever. Now let's go back to let's turn it on now. All right, and I'm just gonna erase everything that I have, or no, delete the bars. Excuse me. So now when it comes to swing, which honestly I don't use that a whole lot, and we're not talking about swinging something in terms of doing triplets like typical, right? We're talking about taking something that was recorded with 16th notes and then pushing that time into a semi-swing. So it's more sort of that lazy feel. So let's just see how that works. I'm going to keep it on 16th notes. Okay. 2, 3. Okay. So now if I use the magical swing parameter, which is dedicated to this Q link, and I've got the window up so you can see, as I start going from 50%, which is right on the center, we can start pushing it. All right. And so by playing 16 notes in real time, it's going to push it back, or push it into, so I'm going to increase it just a little bit more, and we'll so that gives you, so if I play, and I'm going to do this in real time, 16 note groove on the piano. Oops. So if I play a 16th note run on the lead, it's going to match it to that. And so that's that lazy sort of that, what they refer to as that feel, like a groove template. And Logic has those swing feels. I think all the other DAWs sort of copied that Akai lazy swing feel. And this is something that I should actually practice more, like in real time, creating this groove without using the quantize. Like if I turn this off and I record and try to so it's got that lazy, jazzy feel. But that's, again, I guess the idea is not to quantize everything, but to use it as a tool so that you can create a certain basis of foundation so that you can play to that. And I'm not lying, it takes practice. It's something that you should practice. To use these machines to help you become more musical, as opposed to make music for you. You want to use them as an assistant to create. But that's basic quantization or time correction as it relates to the MPC and how it interfaces with that. So, any questions or comments or suggestions or something that I didn't show or I may have been wrong in saying whatever, just mark it in the comments. And until next time, peace out.